Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, April 14th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. So today, as always, we have a number of feasts, but we'll start off with Our Lady of Guam. Our Lady of Guam. It's a miraculous statue to which the natives of Guam have great devotion, right? It's about 3 feet high. It's all ivory, with a very exquisite gown and a head full of brown hair, right? According to the Jesuit history of the island, Our Lady's coming there was miraculous. So, the story starts in the year 1825, when a Spanish soldier was fishing quite a distance off from the shore, when he noticed a strange object floating amongst the waves, right? He moved closer and saw that it was a statue, supported by giant golden crabs holding lighted candles in their claws, right? Well, the soldiers took it and claimed the statue as their own, installing her as the patroness of their barracks, right? They also made like a little shrine for her, a wooden recess with doors, like a cupboard, or camarino, from which the name, Our Lady of the Cupboard, or Santa Maria del Camarino, takes her name, right? So she remained in the barracks for a number of years, but we get the impression that she wasn't exactly pleased with the atmosphere, right? She would be found missing, only to return with her mantle covered in burrs, right, like she was walking in the fields. And when soldiers would return drunk with coconut brew, she would slam the doors of the cupboard shut against them, right? Now, nobody really knows how she came to leave the barracks to go into the Cathedral of Agnana, right? But on April 14th, a great earthquake occurred, which really terrorized the natives and destroyed most of their homes. It's thought that on that day, she deserted the barracks and showed herself to be the patroness of the people and of Guam in a special way, right? So, on the eve of this day, April 14th, the people place lighted candles outside their tight, closed shutters, right? They do this in memory of their fathers who made the promise to Santa Maria del Camarino. In 1825 and again in 1834, they vowed to celebrate a feast yearly for the protection from the earthquakes and typhoons, right? Yep, it's interesting because they say that, earthquakes and typhoons have come and left destruction, but it's said that they have never taken one life or harmed the children of Santa Maria del Camarino, Our Lady of Guam, right? Once a year, on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, December 8th, the statue comes down from its niche, which is high over the altar, and processes through the capital city, right? This was an official holiday until 2002, when the government eliminated it along with many others, right? But on December 8th that year, the super typhoon Pongsona struck the island, after which Our Lady's holiday was reinstated. That's good thinking. Next, we'll head over to Italy for a number of feasts. First, we have Beata Vergine delle Grazie, Our Lady of Graces, in Salzano, Venezia, Veneto, Italy, in the Robignano district. And this refers to an apparition that took place in 1534. So, Robignano has its apparition April 14th, 1534, which was in the church. And we're told, tradition tells, that it refers to the miraculous healing of a young Constantina, who was between 13 and 15 years of age, and afflicted with a congenital deformity in her legs, right? So, she went there and was healed. So, the miraculous image was then brought into the church, but it later returned, but it was later replaced in the place of the early tabernacle, right? They decided they wanted to build a church, so it was made like the desire to build a church on September 13th, 1534, and that's what they see on the cornerstone, right, which is dated August 30th, 1567, right? It was 69 years after the apparition, on March 24th, 1603, that this sanctuary was finally finished, given the title Our Lady of Graces. In 1611, it became its own parish, also called Beata Vergine delle Grazie, but also it was given to the patronage of Saint Giacomo Maggiore e a San Cristoforo, so Saint James the Greater and Saint Christopher, the patrons of pilgrims, right? In 2034, we're told that there will be a great ceremony to recall the 500th anniversary of the apparition. We're also told that in 1433, Our Lady appeared to Saint Ludwina. I don't have any more information on that. And then also we have the Madonna dei Laghi Avigliana in Turin, Italy, right? So this recalls the date of the first coronation of that image, right? We know that Our Lady is a very concerned mother when people go to her in the midst of difficulties, wars, or diseases. So it was precisely when there was a terrible plague going about that had killed many people, especially in Italy, in the years 1630, 1631, that they saw the maternal protection of Our Lady, right? And we see that she was particularly present through the work, the zeal, and charity of the sons of St. Francis of Assisi. So that's what we're celebrating today, April 14th, in the Marian world. For today's Marian meditation, taken from the book by Father Ildefonso Villar, we continue with Meditation 55, the life at Nazareth, but again with a special focus on growth and development. So today we can consider point 3, how Jesus grew. First, in his body. This was practically the only growth open to him. That tender and delicate body of the child Jesus every day appeared more robust and beautiful, more fitted for his impending apostolic labors, for his preaching, for his passion. Therefore, even his physical and natural growth tended towards the plan of his redemption, towards the fulfillment of the will of his Father, towards the salvation of souls. Towards this same end, too, we must direct our health, our strength, the whole of our life, even considered from a physical and corporal standpoint. And second, he grew in wisdom. And this was twofold. One, his human wisdom by which he appeared to know, every day more and better, all that was necessary for life, for his work, and for the purpose of helping his parents. Moreover, he knew every day better what men are, what is in the human heart. And this knowledge made him suffer at seeing their inconstancy, their selfishness, their incomprehension of real love. He would see the hearts of all mankind, and he would find, alas, a similar substratum also in your own heart. The other was the divine wisdom which every day revealed itself more clearly, as for instance when in the temple it caused the doctor of the law to admire. Our Lady derived much fruit from these divine lessons. And you? Do you too listen to the inspirations of God? Do you profit by them? As he grew in wisdom day by day, he would do works more and more pleasing to his Father, more and more profitable to us. How great would be his uprightness and purity of intention! What love did he not bring to his actions? Imitate this growing sanctity of Jesus, which goes on increasing ever more until the Eucharist and the cross, until the end of life. For today's reading from the Admirable Heart of Mary, as we recall, we're in part 8, which talks about the holiness of Mary's admirable heart as a foundation of devotion to it. And we read the conclusion of chapter 1, which considers the heart of Mary immaculate and sinless. To withhold one's assent to Mary's privilege, that is her immaculate conception, is to give the lie to 500 doctors in France, Italy, Spain, Germany, England, Scotland, Poland, Portugal, and Flanders, who asseverated to this truth by numerous beautiful and learned books. The Society of Jesus alone employed more than 60 of its members to defend the honor of their Heavenly Mother in this manner by their erudite and pious writings. To maintain that Mary was not spotless in her conception is to ridicule the many miracles brought by Almighty God, many of which are mentioned in the letters of St. Anselm. It is to show no fear of the terrible chastisements which divine justice will inflict upon those who oppose this doctrine, as may be seen in the book written by St. John of Cartagena, a Franciscan. It is to give preference to the impiety of the detestable Calvin, so full of hatred for the Mother of God, rather than to the devotion of the Christian world to the holiness of Mary's conception. It is to give more favor to the demons who were created in the state of grace than to the Queen of Angels. It is to elevate Adam and Eve, the first man and woman, who were the cause of the loss of countless souls, above their daughter Mary, the mediatrix of salvation and the restorer of grace. Lastly, to impugn the doctrine of Mary's preservation from original sin is to reject the wisdom of the Catholic Church, which solemnizes the feast of the Immaculate Conception with so much fervor throughout the world, setting oneself against a fact authorized by the Church and stated by St. Augustine in the following words: Quod per universum orbem commendat ecclesia, hoc quin ita facendum sit disputari insolentissime insanies est. To question anything that is done throughout the whole world by the order and recommendation of the Church is the most insolent folly imaginable. O Blessed Virgin Mary, I humbly beseech you, by your Immaculate Conception, and through your pure heart, to take full possession of my heart, give it completely to your divine Son, and beg him to banish from it all sin, and to establish in it forever the perfect reign of his divine love.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.